They thought it was just another prop, a Halloween dummy, hanging inside a haunted house attraction. It was painted bright orange, with one arm loosely hanging by its side. But when a crew member tried to move it, the arm broke off. Inside, there was no metal or rubber, only bone and dried tissue. The set went silent. Everyone realized what they were looking at wasn't a mannequin at all. It was a real human body, one that had been dead for more than 60 years. The discovery led to one of the strangest investigations in American history. Who was this man? How did his body end up hanging in a Californian amusement park? The answer would uncover the forgotten life and long journey of a failed outlaw named Elmer McCurdy. It was December 8th, 1976, at the Pike, an amusement park in Long Beach, California. A production team for the hit show, The $6 Million Man, was filming a scene inside an attraction called Laugh in the Dark. The attraction had hanging dummies, eerie sound effects, and flashing lights. Nobody imagined that one of those dummies was real. When the arm broke off, the crew immediately called police. At first, officers thought it was a prank, a studio prop made too realistically. But under the orange paint, they saw something unmistakable. Real hair, real teeth, and the faint smell of human decay. The area was sealed off, and the body was taken to the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office. At the coroner's lab, examiners discovered the body was mummified, dry and hardened like leather. The skin was covered in layers of wax and bright red paint. Inside the mouth, investigators found a 1924 penny, a few museum tickets, and traces of old embalming fluid. X-rays showed a .32 caliber bullet lodged in the chest cavity. That single clue changed everything. The bullet was a type commonly used in the early 1900s, and the embalming chemical was arsenic, banned decades earlier for its toxicity. It meant one clear thing. Whoever this man was, he had died many years ago. Detectives began tracing the clues backward in time. They contacted museums, carnival owners, and sideshow historians across the country, hoping to find any record of a real body ever being used as a display. Most early leads went nowhere, because the corpse had changed hands many times, passing from one carnival and museum to another. By the time police began asking questions, no one could clearly trace where it had come from. Then historians mentioned stories about a preserved outlaw, whose embalmed body had once toured fairs and sideshows. That name surfaced again and again. Elmer McCurdy, leading investigators to Oklahoma and to a case that had been closed for more than 60 years. Elmer McCurdy was born in Washington, Maine in 1880. His mother, Sadie McCurdy, was unmarried, and the identity of his father was unknown. To avoid social stigma, her brother George McCurdy and his wife Helen raised Elmer as their own child. When Elmer later found out the truth about his birth, it upset him deeply and strained the family. As a young man, he worked as a plumber and was good at his job. But after losing work during an economic slowdown, he began drinking heavily and drifting from town to town. In 1907, Elmer joined the U.S. Army, where he learned to handle explosives and nitroglycerin. After leaving the Army in 1910, he tried to use that knowledge to make quick money through crime. By 1911, McCurdy had joined a small group of outlaws who operated across Oklahoma and Kansas. They tried to rob trains and banks, but most of their plans failed. In March 1911, McCurdy and his gang targeted a Missouri-Kansas-Texas train near Lenape, Oklahoma. Inside one of the train's express compartments was a safe believed to contain a large amount of cash. McCurdy decided to blow it open using nitroglycerin, but he misjudged the amount. The explosion was so strong that it destroyed the safe and burned most of the money inside. The gang collected only a few damaged coins and escaped with almost nothing. A few months later, McCurdy and two partners broke into the Citizens Bank in Chautauqua, Kansas. This time, he used too little dynamite. The blast damaged the vault frame, but failed to open it. The noise woke nearby residents, and the men were forced to flee before they could try again. Then came his final attempt. On October 4th, 1911, he and his partners planned to rob a train, said to be carrying a large peril for the Osage Nation. But they stopped the wrong train, a small passenger service. When they searched the mail compartment, they found only $46 in coins, a revolver, and a bottle of whiskey. News of the failed robbery spread quickly, and people began calling McCurdy the bungling bandit. After the robbery, McCurdy left his partners and hid in a hayloft on a farm near Pawhuska, Oklahoma, owned by rancher Charles Reverd. He spent days there, drinking from the stolen whiskey bottle. Meanwhile, law officers from Osage County, led by Sheriff Bob Fenton, tracked him down through witness reports. In the early hours of October 7th, 1911, officers surrounded the barn and called for McCurdy to surrender, but he refused. He fired several shots from inside. The officers returned fire. After nearly an hour, the barn went quiet. When deputies entered, they found Elmer McCurdy dead, lying near his rifle and the empty whiskey bottle. A .32 caliber bullet had struck him in the chest, killing him instantly. Since McCurdy had no family in the area, his body was handed to Joseph L. Johnson, an undertaker in Pawhuska. Johnson embalmed the body using a strong arsenic-based fluid, the common preservative of the time. Arsenic kept bodies firm for years, but was later banned for its toxicity. Today, embalmers use formaldehyde-based solutions instead. Johnson dressed McCurdy in everyday clothes and placed him in a corner of his funeral home, hoping someone would claim the remains. He sent notices to nearby towns and newspapers, but no one came. McCurdy's mother had already died, and his remaining relatives lived far away in Maine, unaware of his death. After months with no claimant, Joseph Johnson placed McCurdy's preserved body on public display. He stood the body upright, placed a rifle in its hands, and added a sign that read, "The bandit who wouldn't give up." Visitors paid 5 cents to see the bandit, dropping the coins into McCurdy's open mouth. For nearly 5 years, his body remained on display. By then, the arsenic embalming and Oklahoma's dry climate had preserved him so well that he looked more like a statue than a corpse. In 1916, 2 men arrived, claiming to be McCurdy's brothers, James and Charles Patterson. They said they wanted to take the body to San Francisco for burial. They spoke politely and showed papers, convincing Johnson to release it. After keeping the body for nearly 5 years, Johnson finally believed McCurdy would be laid to rest. But the men were not family at all. They were carnival promoters, owners of the Great Patterson Carnival Company, a traveling show that toured small towns. They exhibited McCurdy's body as the Oklahoma outlaw, shot dead by law officers after train robbery. It quickly became one of their most popular attractions. Over the next 6 decades, McCurdy's body passed through a long chain of owners. It was sold and resold to carnivals and museums of oddities. Each owner gave him a new title: the embalmed bandit, the outlaw who wouldn't die. Layers of paint and wax were added to preserve his appearance. By the 1950s, most people no longer knew he was real. Eventually, his body ended up in a California amusement park, hung from a fake gallows inside a haunted house attraction, just another Wild West prop. No one realized the figure was an actual human body. He stayed there for over 20 years, mistaken for a decoration, until the truth surfaced during filming of The $6 Million Man in 1976. When the story made headlines, people across the country debated what to do with McCurdy's body. With no living relatives, the Los Angeles County coroner took custody of the remains. Museums offered to display him again, but the public objected. The Oklahoma Historical Society stepped in, arguing that McCurdy should return to the place where his story began, to be buried in Oklahoma with dignity. In early 1977, McCurdy's remains were transported to Guthrie, Oklahoma, known as the resting place of outlaws. On April 22, 1977, a simple funeral was held, attended by residents, law officers, and historians who came to honor the tragic and unusual life McCurdy had led. During the ceremony, a local preacher said that Elmer McCurdy had finally stopped traveling. He was buried in Summit View Cemetery beside other outlaws from the Old West. To make sure his body would never again be removed or displayed, workers poured 2 feet of concrete over his coffin, a final act of respect to ensure that, this time, he would truly remain buried. Elmer McCurdy's life began as that of a small-time outlaw, but it became one of the strangest journeys in American history. A man who spent more years dead than alive, traveling the country as a sideshow attraction. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, don't forget to like and subscribe for more untold true crime stories from history. Thanks for watching.